not sick care. So there's a big distinction. Healthcare means we prevent you from getting sick in the first place. And that is really the best thing that you can do. And when I teach students, train everybody, I always ask what is the best way to cure a disease. It's to not get it in the first place. But if you have to get it, what is the next best way? You want to make sure that you will catch it early and then treat it early. So we cannot really actually be going to contribute money to build a hospital at home if you yourself here are not healthy. And so even if it is for selfish reasons, we really need to make you healthy so that when we call you next time, you will donate more. But not only because of that, but each member of this community is a point on the chain. And if you are strong, if you are sick and weak, then that means the entire chain is actually weak. So I really wanted to share with us what are some of the tips of the things I've seen and studied within our communities that make us really forsake. So I will put it in a few categories, and that is number one. I think when people hear about healthcare, they are thinking about doctors, pharmacies, nurses, blah, blah, and so on and so forth. But long before you get to the hospital, to the doctors, and so on, if I were to define from the cradle, that is from when you were born, to how you live your life, and call that life expectancy, and use that as a measure. And I'm counting the things that will actually make you achieve that. And not only just life expectancy, there's a new concept that we talked about now, which is health expectancy. Because two people could live to 80 years, but one live in very good health, and then the one spend most of their time in a nursing home. And those two people don't have the same experience. One has a health experience, a health span of 80 years, and then the other one may have a health span of 50 years. And you're asking yourself, what are the things that would actually make you, keep you healthy, and what are the things that can give you a long life? And there are very few things, and which I will reflect with us today. Number one is what you eat. You are what you eat. And one of the very big things that I've seen actually in our community is we come from home where most of our food is based on what? Plant-based, vegetables, fruits and stuff. Then we come and get here, and then once we see what we see here, the first thing is we jump to the McDonald's, we jump to the fast food, we jump to the processed food. And I see this even in Africa, where now diabetes has become the fastest rate of diabetes in the whole world is right now in Africa. And you ask yourself why. It is not a genetic problem. It is a lifestyle problem. And I see a lot of you, the men, they come and get here, and sometimes I see them and they all have soccer balls in front of their shirts. And I'm saying, guys, what is the soccer ball doing in front of your shirt? Try and take that out, right? And you can take this out by getting what you eat. And what you eat is not just about really making you healthy, but it's also about, again, making you live longer. People ask, what is that? Fruits, vegetables. If you must eat animal protein, go fish. If you must eat, next could be white meat. And what you must actually avoid, and this is actually like a plague in this country, is a processed and ultra-processed food, and also red meat. And the other thing that I will talk about is physical activity. And the physical activity, what is it? People think about physical activity and think about exercise just as it is something for you to lose calories. No, it goes more than that. There is prevention of diabetes, there is prevention of hypertension, there is prevention of heart disease, which are the basic killers, and there is prevention of cancer. And I talked about diet. I'm an expert in cancer, and that's what really I do for a living. And I can tell you this from a very, very professional perspective. And the exercise doesn't only help you with that, it helps you with memory. And so if you want to live and get to that age, ripe old age, and not forgetting your children's name, your grandchildren's name, and not actually having some people play tricks on you, keeping your memory, please make sure that you exercise. And what does that look like? Just 30 minutes of a day or an hour, 3 hours a week may help. But I would tell you people that the more the better. And it is not just that, it is also about your immune system. We now know from a lot of research that your muscles, each time you're working your muscles, they're producing certain chemicals that are helping you with your immune system. And then it is also reducing what we call your cortisol level. And cortisol is like fire in your body. That's what you don't want. That is really something that if you are able to, and there is for some reason, this is much better. There's a lot of scientific data that is showing this to be a lot more helpful to women and to older people. You want to coordinate. At a certain age, the older, the biggest problem is falls. But when you are exercising, what that is doing is aligning your entire system, coordinating it, and making it a lot better. And so I can go on and on and on and on and on. But then the other thing that I should turn to is your weight. Know your ideal body weight. There is just it is past that time. When I was little, we used to admire people who carried excess weight. Because back in the village, they will say, they will dance some dance, and then they will show it as if, they will say, Okabe, in my village, means, in my language, meaning, money. So weight was actually synonymous to wealth. But here, you all realize it, weight is synonymous to disease. And where the weight actually is matters. It is not just weight as a point, because some people have weight which is mostly bones, or like women that have weight in their hips. That weight is not as unhealthy as the weight in your abdomen. This is the one killer you really want to get rid of. It produces a lot of the chemicals that help us, that really cause a lot of disease. The other thing that you people don't think too much about is, since I have 10 minutes, I'm almost rounding up, is sleep. And the important thing, and this is one big problem I see with the immigrant communities. You get here, you want to work, you want to do triple jobs, you want to do, all the time, work 24 hours, the body needs a rest. The brain at night, it is when you're sleeping that the brain is actually cleaning up itself. Sleep acts as a mechanism of actually taking all the waste from the brain and eliminating it. So that if you think about how stinky your house can be when you generate a lot of waste and never really get rid of it, then that is exactly how your body feels like when you don't sleep. This is why you don't sleep. You start losing concentration, you start being irritable, you start not being able to feel like you can have a conversation with anybody. The reason is that sleep it was actually designed for the purpose for which it is, which is to actually have you renewed, have you regain your memory. And actually when you learn, for people who study, you realize that sometimes when they say sleep over something, they really mean it. Because when you sleep over, this is a time where all the reception, every knowledge that the thing we teach you, that is the time where it is actually taking this from concept and actually internalizing it, making it more like ingrained into your memory and allowing you to retain and reason. The last I will talk about is that stress. As somebody famously said, Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest kings that ever lived. When you are stressed, remember who is here. It is you. You must remember, don't get the scary kid here. Get the scary kid out of here. And be the person to be able to take control. You may not be able to take control of decide the things that come at you, but you can decide how you react to it. And this is why in Buddhism, they will tell you that when something happens, there are two spheres that are coming at you. One is the sphere that comes to you from, which is what has happened. That you may not be able to change it. But the other more destructive atmosphere is how do you react? And that is the most critical thing that you must think about. So do not dwell on things that don't really matter. And if you don't think about it that way, this is why you come here. What you do, you chase money, and at the end of the day, you get the money while you are young. But then you're going to spend all that money in your later years seeing people like me, right? Seeing doctors, being on cabinets of medications and stuff like that. Why don't you start now? So as an immigrant community, I really urge you to do that. And then I will lastly put in a plug there about screening. Make sure that you get your screening done. Women, if you are at the age of 40, out inside this hall, and you haven't started getting your mammograms, you are doing something wrong. Please go get it, go get yourself checked. Men, if you are at the age of 50 and you haven't started getting your PSA checked, please go check it. This thing saves life. If you're at the age of 45, it used to be that we used to say 40, but we are seeing a lot of cancer in younger and younger people. And so the new age for colonoscopy right now is 45. If you are not yet screening yourself at that time, you are actually doing something wrong. And if you are here and you smoke, please stop. If you're here and you drink in excess, please stop. I'm just actually talking to you now as I'm talking to you, not as a doctor, talking to you as a brother who unfortunately sees many of you sick. I may not be able to give you anything, but I can give you that knowledge. And at the end of the day, it matters who your experts are. One of the last things I would say before I sit down is that there is a new risk. And all know our people like lots of conspiracies. We see videos, we don't know where they come from, and then we want to internalize and take everything to it. And then I ask you, where is your evidence? And you are putting me a YouTube video. Do you know who made that video? And maybe a small, tiny little kid who has no idea what they're talking about. And it's usually the people who are after your money. Because when you click on those many views, what do? They get money. But what do? You fall sick, and then you don't take, you don't see the real expert. What happens? You will die. Okay? And I saw this during COVID. I know how many people within our community I had to actually virtually send their own families and friends to go take them to the hospital. And as I said, the new one in town is AI. And I have to warn you people about this. Very soon, you could get me speaking like this, but it will not be me. And I could be giving you lots of bad advice because it is not me, it is AI. And so you must learn how to find who are your trusted experts. When you have a problem, if you have a mechanic problem, don't come to me. But if you have a healthcare problem, know where you want to go and know who you are going to. So I'll leave it here only because I don't want Mr. Akana to come and grab the microphone from me. I know he's too polite, but you can see them actually watching me here and try to grab that microphone from me. I'll leave it here, but I'll leave my phone number just in case. And I also want to say we have a cancer center in Cameroon. If you ever get a family member that diagnosed with cancer, please reach out to me. And I'll leave my phone number here. It's 978-766-1816. Michael can give it up to you people. I don't care, you are not charging, you're not being charged. For being my brothers and sisters, you already paid for it. Okay? Thank you.